Good morning everybody, it's Rob back again with another video. How are you? As you can see, this is my bike. This is my 2018 Softail Slim, and I wanted to talk to you today about how to put it in transport mode and a few safety things that you need to know after you've purchased your Harley from a dealership. So let's get started. So I've got the key on me, so I have my proximity fob next to me, and the first thing we're going to do is put it in transport mode so that when we move the bike round, the alarm's not going to go off. Now bear in mind that the new bikes don't have an actual siren fitted as standard, so it's up to you whether it's worth putting it in transport mode to stop the battery going flat for the alarm going off, which won't have a sound because of no siren. So for the new bikes, I think 2021 and onwards, the sirens are an optional extra or an add-on, or however you want to do it. So because I have the fob on me, when I turn the kill switch to on, it's going to activate the ignition, and now I can start it. Now the stand is down and it's in gear, but anyway. So when I turn it off, after a few seconds, it will arm itself as per normal. So you had the two chirps with the two flashes of the lights. So let's put it in transport mode. So to put it in transport mode, you come in like normal, and then you put the kill switch on, and then you press and hold both indicator buttons together, and on the display it will say transport mode active, and the lights will flash 3 times, not 2 times, 3 times. So for the older bikes, if you don't have the display here, you can tell that it's in transport mode because the indicators will flash 3 times. Okay, so that's the transport mode when you want to move it around and stuff like that. So now I want to discuss the PIN code for the fob, and should you need to start your bike without the fob and things like that. And I just want to give you a few warnings later on. So that is transport mode sorted out. Now we're going to discuss the PIN code, how to get the PIN for your fob. And with this, you can potentially start the bike up without the fob. So it's always worth knowing in case you forget your fob, or you've come back from shopping or whatever and you've lost your keys. There is a way to do this. So I will go through that in a minute, but let's find out what PIN this is first. So this is to find out your PIN. Now for this, you obviously need your fob with you close. So that's to activate the code that you've put in to your fob. So the way to do that, now with the newer bikes, you can use just a kill switch, but for the older bikes, you need the kill switch to be in run, and then everything else you're doing on the ignition switch on the dash. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to, from off, we're going to go on, off, on, left indicator 3 times, right indicator once. So now we have the display. Can you see that? So now the cursor is flashing on the first 3. So I've changed mine to all the 3s. Obviously I'm going to change mine again after this video. So to move this number to a different number, you're going to press the left indicator and it will go up through the numbers to whatever number you want. And then for the next number, you're going to press the right indicator button and it will move along to the next one. Then repeat the process with the left indicator, move along 1, repeat, move along 1, repeat, move along 1, repeat, and go back. Now when you got the number that you want, you're going to turn off the ignition. Now that will store whatever code you put in here. So for the older bikes, what you want to do is do exactly the same process, but you're using the ignition switch that's on the tank area. So you're going to put the kill switch to run, and then from the ignition switch being off, you're going to go on, off, on, off, on. Left indicator 3 times, 1, 2, 3, right indicator 1, and then you'll get the display up on your dash. That is how you get your PIN code. So hopefully you've got that. Now, bear in mind, the thing to remember is a lot of dealerships will put an easy to remember code in all their bikes for when they're moving it around the shop and stuff. They won't use the keys to have the fob with the bike. They're just, if they need to start it, they just put the number in and start it. So every time you go to a dealer, the PIN code will be an easy to remember code. So potentially, if you know how to do this, you can start up any bike should you know the PIN code from a dealership. So I recommend always changing your PIN code to something, either an easy one for you to remember, or change it to something and then write it down in your manual so that you know you've got it in case you have to start the bike without the fob, or just to change it for good practice so that no one else knows how to start it up. So what I'm going to show you now, I'm just going to come into the house. I'm going to put my keys into the kitchen. So that's my fob here. So hopefully now when I go back to my bike, it's going to ask me for the PIN code when I turn the ignition on. And this is how you start a bike. So this is what I'm saying. Any bike you get from the dealership, if you know the PIN code, then anyone can start it. So for example, you go and pick your new bike up, it's got an easy to remember PIN code, you park it outside your house, or you park it outside the shop one day to have a look around for a new helmet or new jacket, whatever. Someone comes round, they know all the PIN codes, they can start your bike up and ride off, and no one's ever going to really know that it's not their bike as such. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to go to my bike. Let's say that this is someone else's bike. Oh, that's a nice bike. That's a nice Softail Slim. Could do with one of them. Yeah. So I'm going to turn it on. And it's saying enter PIN. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the left indicator button once, and this happens. So I'm going to go to what my PIN code is set to, 3. Press the right one once. It's going to go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. That one once. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. And then when I press right again, when I press that now the ignition's come on and I can start it. I'm not going to start it now because it's in this enclosed space and it's going to be very, very noisy. But the ignition is on. As you can see, it's a neutral, ignition is on, and now I can start this bike without the keys. So I'm just going to turn the ignition off now. And that is it, guys. So be very, very careful when you purchase your bike. Change the PIN code, write it down, keep it safe. That is how you start a bike up without the keys or the fob. That is it from me. I'll see you on the next one.